Okay, I think we're live. It says rotate your device.
Just rotate it.
Okay, then we have to go closer together. Hi guys.
Hey.
We're back and it's dark here. It's already 8:30.
It's 8:30. I think we're going to do this like 8:30 every night.
Yeah.
Because it gives us a chance to get home and
so we're going to be
have
there
feed.
for you
Yeah.
every day at 8:30.
Yeah.
So we what we were talking about last time was basically about the limitations that we have, the blockages that
have been created.
that we are creating, that we
Or
put
have been
onto
created
ourselves.
before we even decided to create, because it can be
Yeah.
created in your,
We bring it
in
with
your
us.
infant years.
Yeah. But anyway, they are, we are the creators, and we are creating our blockages, and we are also creating our
Limitations.
the limitations, but also, what is liberating us. Everything, it's our decision if we want to free ourselves or if we want to stay stuck where we are. But that's not, there's nothing wrong or right about it. It's no judgment. Sometimes
Yeah,
we
it's
have
about
to
it.
stay at one point, stick to one point, stick to one to something that we have created, even if it's a blockage, because we want to learn from that. So, but
In spiritual growth form,
that's
you've got to go through the blockages.
at one
Go through
point,
and move on.
at one point, you want to
Liberate
get
yourself.
over it. Step a little bit, step up, step up in your game. Then Simona was actually commenting in the comments that the ego is a limitation, is limiting us. And I think that's very true, but only if the ego is becoming... If we don't have the ego under control, because our ego is actually
Very tricky.
yes, but it's also a tool, a tool that we can use to remember the birthdays of our beloved ones, remember how we get to our grocery store. I mean, it's our understanding mind, the ego, right?
It's not like...
And there is nothing wrong or right about it, but the way we are, the narrative that we put onto our ego is actually what is making it the evil ego that is limiting us. And then we were actually saying the other day, it's the ego putting a negative connotation, a negative narrative onto itself. Because who's putting the negative comment onto the ego? It's our
higher
ego.
self, yeah.
So that's very tricky, right? But what I wanted to say is that we have a viewer. Hello. What I wanted to say is that our ego is a useful tool until it starts to become a big drama queen.
More out of control.
Yes, the big drama queen on a big stage that is telling everyone how unfair our life
unbelievable
is.
it is, or anything.
How unfair we are treated in life, how how bad the whole world is, and how bad our neighbor is, and I knew this neighbor was against me. He was always looking bad at me, and I knew it all along that my neighbor didn't like me. So this is where it gets tricky and destructive, where our ego starts to become very a negative tool in that way. If you want to use
because
something
it's a
like
fight and flight style.
negative.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I wanted, and then I wanted to talk about actually our point of attraction in that sense, like, because as soon as we start to put negative narratives onto everything, that there we are.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I just thought. As soon as we put a negative story around whatever there is happening in our life, this is where we start to attract in a certain way. And like, I don't like to use the word negative and positive, but if it's something that we don't want in our life, then that's the tricky part, right? Like, we are talking about it so much, and we love to convince other people how bad
that
these
the pain
things
body.
are, right? Like, so you won't believe what happened to me the other day, and then you start to go emotionally into this
The bad state.
story and and you start to convince the other person how bad it was, right? And this is where you start to accumulate more and more of this energy inside of you. And
And I can
you're
say
not,
it's not positive energy. It's not positive.
it's
So,
not what you want.
Yeah, it's sort of going against, if you're
That's-
trying to liberate yourself or try to free yourself from negativity or bad thoughts, and you've got this going on inside of you with the help of your ego, you're sort of going 2 steps back to every half step forward. So you want to sort of take that out of your life, because if you want to start to move forward, like we said, they're all lessons, and you can stay at your lesson for as long as you want. But if you want to actually start to make leaps and bounds towards a positive way of life, you've got to start to catch yourself and say, oh, my neighbour's really bad. Oh, wait a minute. That's my ego story. My neighbour's living his life the way he is. And it's got nothing to do with my story. My story is, I live in a place and I have neighbours, and each to their own, and that's fine. And if you feel like you're with somebody and they're not giving you good feelings, you don't have to stay there. It doesn't. I did this also with some family members. That it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working, and it was like so exhausting for me, and friends and stuff as well as family members. But you just started to just take them out of your life. Not in a negative way, because we separate on our paths many times, and maybe like in a year's time we come back together, and everything's on a different way of life, it's like, but you don't stay somewhere where it doesn't feel good. And when you've taken your lesson, move on. And that's how you're going to end up coming to a place of freedom or liberation, through going through your steps and moving on. And what someone says to you, like if Dorothy says to me right now, oh God, you're so ugly, and I believe into what she's saying, that's my fault. I know if I'm ugly or I'm not ugly. I'm not talking about face ugly or body ugly. I mean like as an ugly person, you have to start to believe in yourself and trust in yourself. Because a lot of times when we have trust issues too, it's because we don't trust in us. Or maybe we did something bad and we think, oh my God, here's the universe biting me on the butt, get me back for what I... Wrong. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. You're feeling good all the time, good will keep coming. You feel bad, you're kind of attracting bad. So it's all about how you're going to continue in your life,
Yeah, and what I wanted to say is like, like when you look at your life, like what is actually happening around you in your life, this is the indicator of what is
Your
what you
vibration,
have
your
of
vibration.
your vibration of
Yeah.
you, of what you have created
Yeah.
vibrationally inside of you. And you know, like if you're asking yourself, why is my life not flowing, why is, you know, this and that happening to me, it's not because something is against you, it's because you have, you know, your point of attraction has inside of you has generated what is happening outside of you.
Yeah.
And we love to blame outer circumstances. You know,
Yeah,
we
not
love
take responsibility. Not take responsibility for our actions.
we love to say, when this is going to happen, I'm going to be happy. You know, I'm going to be free. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to be exactly, you know, how I want to be. You know, like when I'm going to, you know, when I'm going to have my millions from my lottery or whatever, then I'm going to stop,
Change my life.
you know, stop eating bad shit or something like that, you know. This is not how it works, you know, like you have to start being happy, and then, you know, because that's your point of attraction. You're happy, you're joyful, you're light-footed, you're, you know, you're full of visions, and then everything is going to come to you. This is how, you know, this is how, you know, you have, you generate your point of attraction that is according to your desires, what you really want, you know. And there's nothing wrong about also having this experience of, I don't want this, you know, like you don't have enough money on your account and you go like, it just doesn't feel good. I just don't want that, because it makes you understand, I don't want this. So you're sending out this vibration that you want to change it. You know, you start to change, you start to vibrate on this level of, I want more, I want to get to another point, you know. So that's not wrong, but you have to at one point catch yourself and not get caught in this feeling of, you know, like, oh, I don't have enough money and it will never come, you know, living in this lack, in this feeling of lack. It will never come to you if you're...
You'll manifest lack. You will manifest lack. I was talking about a new job, and I was telling Dorothy, oh my God, I'm going to be on 100K this year if I stay with this job. And I was like talking about this 100K. And the universe ended up putting me in a situation where I had an accident. I'm 10,000 short of 100K needing to pay. So now I've got to pay $90,000. Because I was always talking about this 100K, oh my God, we're going to be working, I'm going to be earning 100K. And this is the whole thing. It's like, you just understand if you need 100K or you're going to give 100K. He understands 100K. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, we've got to start putting just positive thoughts inside of our minds. Positive thoughts inside of our minds. Positive thoughts means that you're grateful. We're going through a little thing at the moment. It's grateful for being grateful. And we wake up every morning and we say how grateful we are for everything that we have. It's just only 10 things, and you just jot them down in a book, and just to say you're thankful for whatever it is, you know. I'm thankful that I have a car. I don't have to walk. I've got a car. I'm really grateful, you know. Thank you that I've got a car. I'm grateful that I've got a great wife. You find your 10 things or 5 things, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and just thank yourself and what you have, and stop thinking about what you don't have. Be joyful about what you do have, because that's also starting to change your vibration, because you're starting to be happy. Yeah.
This is where the healing starts inside of our bodies. If we are able to find, you know, gratitude in our hearts, in our heart center, then true healing starts. This is the key for everything, because, you know, like we are so many times, like, this is so sneaky. We're not used to being grateful, you know, grateful for even being able
things
to
for granted, actually.
breathe air. You know how awesome it is to be able to breathe air. I mean, like, it gives us the gift of life, the gift of experiencing, of growing, of like becoming better or not. But we have the possibility to decide, what we want to do. So yeah, this is, we forget about that. And our attitude is so many times that we are, like doubtful and full of
wanting.
Yeah, like
wanting
wanting.
this, I need this, I need that.
Yeah, wanting is okay, but it's like desperate wanting. Like, I don't have it, and I'm jealous because others have it, and like wanting and feeling like, okay, I already have it. I'm already in this experience of, because I want it, and because I have already sent this this thought into the universe. That's why it already exists up there, and it's gonna come to me eventually if I don't block it. That's okay. We have to also know what we want to be able to get what we want. But if we are desperately wanting with a sense of I don't have it, then it's blocking our whole energy field. But where was I actually?
We're wanting. Yeah.
I had a thought,
Oh, but jinx
but I
again.
lost it.
You talked yourself away from it.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to know is if anybody would be interested in doing a meditation
or
with
a prayer
us.
that we know.
So it would be great if you would leave a comment down below to let us know if you would like to do a meditation, which is focusing on
The gratefulness, to be grateful.
Yeah, gratefulness and
We don't forget. Just even having, I've lived a lot of lives, and just having a bed to sleep in. You should be grateful to have a bed to sleep in. There's a lot of homeless people out in the world. Just that you have your bed. Even might not be the best bed, and might not be, I don't know, whatever bed you dream of having, but just to have a place that you can lay your head at night
as
and
part
relax.
of the day. At night, going to bed.
Yeah, we forget about the little things. The little things, my cousin's wife picks up stones and shells, and she makes beautiful things, beautiful things just from these little things. Other people will be like, oh, what's that? She puts them together and makes beautiful things. It's these little things that sometimes we take for granted. It's just another shell. It's not really, because you can add some things that make this a beautiful piece that you put in your house. There's so many things that we can do to make us happy. Yeah, you don't need the fancy cars and the fancy wife and the fancy. You need just to be in here, in love with you. And when you're in love with you, and I'm not talking about a new pair of Nikes, I'm talking about really caring about you, and you're vibrating on a good feeling. Everything will change. There's also a lot of things that
what I wanted to say is
you remembered?
so it's there's nothing wrong about wanting a fancy
No, I'm
car,
not saying-
right?
no,
That's what I wanted to. It's
misunderstood.
even if you want a fancy car, right? That's okay too, But again, if you feel like you don't have it, but you want to have it, then it blocks you.
It tells us negativity.
Going feeling like, oh, I would love to have this car, and at one point I'm gonna have it. That's okay, because it gives you a good feeling. It gives you this feeling of like
Striving.
there's something going to happen in my life. The thing is, like, this is also important for people to know that. What's happening there?
You can add people onto the screen.
Okay. It's also important to understand that, there's nothing wrong about anything. Like judging the material world because the material world is, bad or whatever. Like, the more we judge, the more we put ourselves into this energy of negativity, if you want to call it that way.
Judgment.
You judge the world as bad, you judge other people as bad, and you are the one who's actually having this bad feelings inside of yourself, So there is nothing bad and there's nothing wrong or right about anything, like the only thing that, why we are here is to experience and to expand in whatever way we can. And if, our expansion means having a fancy car or having fancy Nikes, it's not about identifying yourself, about having something fancy. It's about more like, is that what kind of, energy is that starting to generate inside of me? Is there something going to, is there something starting inside of me? And if this something that starts inside of you is something that is feeling elevated, then that's great. That's great. Even if it's just, for a short moment, and then you need the next thing that is elevating you, But it's all something that is, bringing you further and further and further. The best thing, of course, is, to go into meditation and get your elevated feelings from there. But we are living in this material world, and we are here to play with this material, in this material world. It's a game. So, why not?
The thing is, I think that's really important to say after you said that. Everyone at a certain point realizes what is freedom now. If I want the new BMW and I'm working Saturdays, Sundays and losing my free time to have his car, in my world, that's something I would never do, because there's nothing like free time for me. Free time is that's like the pot of gold for me. But some people do it, and that's fine. That's totally fine. You got to figure out what makes you happy. What makes you happy? What is it that makes you happy? When you can even think about what makes you happy, and then you move towards that. What makes you happy? Like, to me, it's not about having a fancy car. I've got two old cars that I got given to me when we arrived in Australia, and they're still driving, even though they told me I wouldn't get out of state. And they're still driving, and I'm still using the cars, and I'm so grateful to my Uncle Rico and Tony and Anne for giving me these cars. That I drove from Victoria up to Queensland, across the Nullarbor to Perth, and I use them for driving to work and things like that. It's these little things that people don't understand, that we just take for granted. I even grateful in my prayer every day. I'm grateful for the cars we have. It makes me mobile. It makes me be able to move around, Because we're not living in London or Berlin here, where you got trains going past every 5 minutes and moving fast. It takes forever, I mean, it takes really long to get. If I had to get to work where I live, I'm working 55 minutes away. I could have to drive for an hour and a half with the train, and that means a day there and back. That's 3 hours I would lose every day. With the car, I do that in half the time, back and forth. So, yeah, it's we have to be really thankful for what we have, rather than to be thinking about what we're going to have or what we want to have. Be grateful for what you've got, and your vibrations going to start moving in the right direction because you're grateful. And then you will see, like a magnet, everything's just going to come. Everything will start to come towards what you want.
Health, everything. Health,
Hi, Norma.
abundance.
Yeah, and Dimitri.
Yeah, health, abundance.
Be happy with what you have.
Whatever you want, whatever you desire is coming with gratitude. If you're able to, to develop gratitude inside of you,
and you're happy with what you've got, your vibration's moving in the right direction,
then this is going to
it's going to bring everything. It's going to
come
bring
into your life.
the BMW, it's going to bring the Mercedes-Benz, it's going to bring the great partner, First of all, this is another thing about the great partner. Are you a great person and you should have a great partner? Or are you at the stage of learning? Because I had a lot of... All my partners were great, actually. Some in different ways than others, but yeah, I obviously needed to go through these lessons and understand me before I could end up with Dorothy. It was just the way it is. It's like this, you know. It's like, be the best you can be grateful for what you have, and you will see how your life will change. It will change like the man's first step on the moon.
And really, like, if you look at your life, because many people, they go like, yeah, but you know, like, I'm trying to manifest and it's just not happening, you know, like there's nothing really going. But if you look at your life at small, you know, things that are happening, and if you look into them, you really understand, oh my God, wait a minute, I actually have manifested that, you know, like
I thought about it and it's happening.
Yes, it's really happening like that. If you want to have, you know, many people want to have like a proof, you know, for manifestation, and until they can really believe, to start to manifest the bigger things, right?
Yeah.
And people go like, yeah, nah, it's not working, you know, like I have sent it into the interworld, it's there, but how am I going to get it into my material world,
Or
you know?
I said it once and it still hasn't come.
Yeah. But
I had 10,000 bad thoughts.
exactly, you're blocking it because you don't believe it, you know,
you have to
inside
believe
of
it.
yourself there's something, you know, that it doesn't believe. But if you start with the small things in your life that you are manifesting without even wanting to manifest it, then you start to go like, oh, it works. It really works.
Yeah.
And then you start to, you know, go to the bigger things. You know, you start to, you know, maybe not too big, you know, slowly step up your game.
I'm all think big. I'm all think big. It's like, when you start realizing that what you're thinking about and doing in your daily life is actually creating your tomorrow.
Yeah.
When you just think about that, what you're doing right now is creating your tomorrow. Maybe it's going to make you start to think more about what you're thinking about right now. Because, you know, like, oh, I want that car. Oh, God, my job's so bad. Oh, my partner's so bad. Oh, this house I live in so bad. So you got,
and it's not coming anyway.
Yeah.
I know that it's not coming because it hasn't come the other day, so it won't come today or something like that.
Yeah, all these, we have to say it's like a blocking belief, not negative, but it's a blocking belief because you're saying, oh, I want to win the lotto. Oh, there's no chance. It's 1 in a million. You're blocking yourself. Be positive on what you want. Hopefully it's the right thing you want, and the universe, when you're vibrating on the right frequency, will send it like it already has 1,000 times before.
So let's also talk about, like, how do you know if it's actually the right, you know, if it's actually the thing that you want, if it, you know, if that's the vibration where you're heading for, you know, like, how do you know if it's, you know, like, because many people, they, you know, because we are programmed on certain things, you know, like eating chocolate or something, like, you know, when I was young, when I was a child, my grandma, she gave me, like, because I had to stay with my grandma a few days of the week, and not had to, it was nice also, I love my grandma, but you know, to make me feel comfortable, she set me in front of the window, gave me 2 bars, 200-gram chocolate for a little child, and a glass of milk. And I was eating that chocolate, drinking milk, and feeling comfortable. And that's my program, right? So, you know, we are programmed on certain things, you know, on eating chocolate. I was, you know, programmed being happy with my 2 bars of chocolate, right? So, you know, today I go like, you know, like, this chocolate is calling me. I really would love to eat it. And then, you know, how do I know if that's really the right thing to do, right? Or the thing that is, you know, that is
programmed of feeling comfortable.
No, not programmed. The thing that is bringing me further in that is letting me step up in my game, right? Because, I learned to feel comfortable with chocolate, right? But if we really look inside of ourselves, into the, if we go deep inside of ourselves and feel into ourselves, does it feel right or wrong what I'm doing right now? We know if it's right or wrong. We that, like, our inner being knows exactly if it's right or wrong. And sometimes there is this feeling of I shouldn't do that, and this I shouldn't do that is actually what is,
That's intuition.
that telling you this is not the right thing to do. This is not letting me step up in my game. So many people go like, oh, I don't know.
Starts from food too. Like we're actually on we live keto at the moment. It's really great because like you cut out all your carbs and stuff like this, and we're super trim and feeling great, not heavy after eating. And it's funny how food can also make you feel heavy. Can make you feel heavy, and then because you're feeling heavy, you're not feeling light and fluffy and lovely. It can change your whole outlook on your day. It's like unbelievable. I never noticed it. I was always pretty trim, but I never noticed it until now we got on the keto, and it's like, and there's many times it's like, oh God, I wouldn't want to get a bar of chocolate, and I was like, you really wouldn't mind? And it's like, oh God, no, I don't want to go there. I've been there. I saw what that's like, and I'm not saying it's not bad. You can have a piece of chocolate, but if you can control yourself to have one piece of chocolate, if you're going to eat a 200-gram bar, it's a little bit too much.
It's
food
like
shouldn't bring you comfort.
It's like the whole, it's the whole package. It's like, it's food. It's our inner
Emotional bodies,
our intuition, our it's everything that comes into this, that is playing into our how can we step up in our game, like, do we binge out on Netflix? Do we binge out on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, how much does that actually, how much does it distract us? How much does it take up our life on eating, on drinking, on smoking, whatever it is, How much does it actually, is it improving us, or is it, like keeping us low in a way, energetically low,
It's like I was saying about marijuana, and he said, I never want to hear somebody saying they're high, because they're not high. Their actually vibrations are super low. And when he said that, I was like laughing my head off. I thought I was high, but it's like, no, actually you were low. You're vibrating. I've been there, done for years, love it. Not anymore, but you're actually not in a conscious state. And if you want to lift your game, you got to start being conscious, even if it's 1 minute more every day. When you start being conscious of what's going on around you, first of all, you're not missing opportunities. Second of all, you're not making mistakes by saying silly things that to upset another person, or your upset self has thought it's a good thing to do. And you start to lift your game when you start to realise what is going on around you. We don't have a TV, we don't watch the news or anything like this. I think that's a little bit of it's like a catch-22. You can either get into that and believe in everything they say, or you can just have a look and see what's going on. And we meditate. So I believe through our meditation, we kind of get all the insights we need to have. We help where we can help as often as possible. And I don't need to hear the bad stories that they've made up to touch your pain body, because you've all got them. We've all got the pain bodies. It's just the same as the ego, but it's the sad pussycat crying in the corner. So it's like, I think if you really want to lift your game and start to be happier, whatever could have happened in your life, what doesn't matter, whatever. whatever. I mean, whatever could have happened in your life, you come to an age in your life where you can change it. And when you're conscious about that and your changes, they seem to stick. Now, when you're on the low, not high, on the low, you got all these great ideas, but then as soon as you become straight or whatever again, it's like, oh, I've forgotten about it. That's a lot of things that cause addiction as well, because it feels so good, and you're not feeling actually really comfortable in yourself when you're straight, and so you need all these like extras to make you feel good. When actually inside you have the most unbelievable machine on the planet.
You have all the chemicals inside of you. You don't really need anything. You don't need no substances. That your body, your brain,
you pay the price. You pay the price in the end.
Is creating all these chemicals, all these substances that make you feel high. But that's a real high then. That's not low. You know, you're not like knocked out. You're really high on life. You know, if you learn how to create them. And, you know, meditation is the key for that. And like meditation, gratitude, you know, this is all, it all comes together. You know, it's all something that is the same.
Anyone watching and wants to write a comment or something they're having going on in their life, it's really good to have like a third person, like that's not stuck in the situation. Like, you know, if we've got a problem and somebody else gives us their view, it kind of opens your eyes, because you're like, oh wow, okay, I'm so stuck in this movie that's going on in my life. So if anyone has any kind of like things that they seem to have stress with, or something's not working out, like we're talking about our problems and stuff like this, please just write a comment at the bottom and we can just discuss it. I mean, it's not like you're going to a $1,000 therapy. We're going to just discuss and see how it feels, and we can get a group of people that are all adding to this talk. I think we can start to slowly change the world. Like I was saying about the Great Wall of China being 500 kilometers long, it all started with the first brick. We can all start putting in our input to different things that we might have having trouble with, or something that we've realised, or it's going to create an unbelievable group of people that are starting to care. Even though we're just on the internet, we're starting to care about one another and maybe giving each other ideas that's helping us through our rough spots. So please feel free to write a comment or something like that. We were saying that we wanted to do maybe some meditation in the weeks to come, or week to come.
So please let us know
if you think
are
that's not interested in that.
Yeah.
We'll be doing this every night at 8:30, like we said, because it's the time when we both get home from work. And it will be a time we get home from work and we can both be online. Me and my wife can be online and talk about things. So if you got any comments and stuff, please write down below, either during the cast or afterwards, because we'd like to address and start to help one another to be able to get through things that we find difficult. You know, I had this really hard time to give up cigarettes. It was like really so hard. It's like, for me, it was like just couldn't see the damage it was doing. And so different little things. You might have a comment that's going to really like, wow, that's it. That's what makes me stay away, or whatever. You know what I mean? And so anyone with any ideas, write them down, post them on the screen or on the if you feel comfortable about having your face on the screen, because it says here, bring them on camera. So I can bring anybody on camera. So if you feel comfortable that you'd be on the screen, just let us know, because we're trying to do this to help one another, and also be able to shed light on one another, because this is how the Great Wall of China was built, with that first brick, 500 kilometers long. I mean, like, we all help one another, and we also solve problems, you know. I mean,
and we're gonna create a different world, you know, a new world. You know, like, I mean, the more people that start to awaken to these insights, the more.
That was pretty
more people who start to awaken to these insights, the more, you know, we can create a completely new world. And yeah, that's what
and
we
bring all
want.
our beautiful
That's our
selves into the
intention.
world. Yeah, that's definitely our intention.
Yeah.
To that everybody who's sharing this time with us, that they're feeling amazing, that they're feeling great. So we're lifting each other's vibrations. It's so super important if we want to change the world, you know. And I definitely want it. I want us to take back the power that we have. They've somehow, through growing up and also through schooling, they've kind of like put a veil over us. We are full of power. We are so full of power, and the only thing that stops us from having this power is our belief. When you believe you're full of power, you're full of power. Do you know what I mean? You can change the world. People say, "Oh no, not one." Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You change your world, and you changing your world changes a million other worlds that come in contact with it.
And you decide if you want to be abundant, or if you want to be healthy, or if you want to be happy.
Yeah,
You know,
it's your decision.
or if you want to be sad.
Yeah, I used to get, when I was living in Berlin, everyone was like, "How the F can you always be happy?" And I was like, "How the F can you always be sad?" I mean, like, life's beautiful. We have our stresses like everybody, and it's not, you know, but you got to look at it with the bright side. Could always be worse, and if you want it to get better, you've got to start feeling better, and you can make your life better. That's totally your decision. It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to live a better life. Because we're always trying to blame certain things. You know, my ex-wife or my this or 100 things.
So if you,
your life is the most important thing for
so
you.
if you have, you know, if you have questions, you know, if there are things that are not easy for you, not clear for you, how to step up your game, how to change something in your life,
You're finding it hard.
you know, come to us and let's start to talk about it and discuss it. Or private. You can also PM us. Whatever you want to do.
Who wrote the message last night? What was her name?
Simona.
Yeah, Simona. She wrote about the ego, and so we started this whole cast with the ego thing, and how the ego is great. I always thought, oh my God, I'm getting rid of my ego, but you do need it for some things, like remembering things and remembering to go shopping. To remember you got to go to work today. Remember how to drive the car.
The ego's used. It helps you to understand.
The ego's used that. Now we always say the ego is it's a bad monster. It's like they say. We heard in India. The ego's like 6 white or black horses. When you're controlling them, you've got 6 horsepower. When you're not controlling them and they're all going in different directions, then you're stressed. When you're controlling your ego and your feelings and emotions, you are the master. You become a master of yourself, your thinking mind. And imagine if all your energy can be put towards the things you want. Imagine all your energy being put to the things you want. How fast everything's going to happen.
Without you yourself blocking yourself.
Without blocking yourself.
You know,
I want this, but I can't get it. I want this, but I can't.
Into your way.
I just got this awesome bike. And it's like, to ride to work. It's awesome. It's really awesome. And yeah, I mean, I actually bought it because I thought, I want to prove to myself that I can afford it. And I did. I got it. We bought it with money we had saved. And it was great. It was a great feeling. It's been sitting in the shed for 2 days, but I've got to go. I'm going to start using it to ride to work. But so, you know, it's like, don't save your money for a rainy day, or, you know, maybe there's going to be another world war and I better save cans of baked beans in my cupboard. Live your everyday.
Yeah, it's about you know, if you feel like you need to do this, and it's gonna show you that, you know, like it's gonna change something in your life, and it's gonna show you that you can afford it, that you can do it. This is like, you know, it's gonna change your attitude towards what you are able, where you're able to go, what you're able to do,
and what you're able to have.
And if you know, like if this something is doing that, then, you know, do it and learn from it and change your energy level.
And with this bike, I've got a friend who's a neighbour, who's a brother, and he's also going to get a bike now. And so we're going to be going for cruises together. You know, like this is like such an uplifting feeling. We're going to cruise around. We've got another friend, also Dave, who's got a bike already, and there's going to be the three of us. We're going to be like the Three Musketeers, driving around and hanging out. That's just good feelings. It's just good feelings. I mean, when you're doing something that's going to be good feelings,
it's the little luxury of
it's
life.
a little luxury, yeah. It's like I could also save the money and put it underneath my pillow and be careful not to leave home because someone's going to rob me. No. These little things that make you happy, do them. Do them. If you're open, money will come. And if you're not a lazy person and waiting for that $600 from the dole check every 2 weeks, and you're actually working, everything will come. And if you spend your money now, it's just going to come in the back door. You got to give to get. It's just the way it works. You got to give to get. And yeah, when you can raise your feelings and emotions and feel good about something, awesome. All
right. Yeah. So yeah,
that's today's day.
Yeah.
So I think about 8:30 every night.
Yeah.
Australian
So
time.
please you know, leave comments, leave questions, post questions.
Yeah. Anything you want to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's start a discussion on anything, relationship, love, whatever
anything,
you're interested. If you have sexual healing problems, you know, we are open for anything.
Yeah.
We can give advice to everything.
And from the third point of view, so we're not stuck in that film that you might be stuck in. So we're looking from the outside. So it's kind of really cool. And like I said, today we started with Simone had said something about the ego. So we started today's little cast with about the ego. So yeah, we're going to do that every day. And if there's no comments, we're just going to
go on talking about topics that are really interesting because we love these topics. It's just so exciting. You know, it's just interesting, and I'm curious about, like, you know, how our brain works,
and how
our
beautiful
body
also
works.
life is. You know, how beautiful life is. Even though all us, it's beautiful. I mean, you can sit in the corner cry, or you can sit there jumping with joy. We prefer to sit and jump with joy.
All right. Love you guys a lot, and
see you tomorrow at 8:30.
Yeah,
maybe if someone posts something, we'll discuss that.
Bye.
See you later. Sleep well.